Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the relatively uncommon grass-type Pokemon Gossifleur, the Flowering Pokémon, and its uncommon evolution Eldegoss, the Cotton Bloom Pokémon. While they might not come off as the most dangerous of creatures at first glance, the members of the Gossifleur family are intriguing little plants that can still make good use of their sturdy forms to survive against harsh blows in battle.
Gossifleur have green main bodies that taper to a point at the end with their roots attached to the ground and with small green leaves for limbs, their face having a beige color to it with warm yellow eyes with brown sclera, a green patch of skin on their forehead, and a small mouth. The sides of their form are crowned with large, luscious springs of red plant material, and the head is topped with a large yellow flower that is constantly in bloom. The evolved form Eldegoss retain a green main body with 3 sprigs of leaves at their base and a yellow kerchief of sorts around their neck, their face and eyes retaining their color with 2 small green triangles of flesh above their eyes. Their head is adorned with an earthy green crown that gives way to a massive cotton bloom, which is where the species name is derived. Gossifleur and Eldegoss are fairly simple plants that spend much of their time anchored to the ground, planting themselves firmly in locations where there is plenty of clean water and air and basking in the sunlight as they do, only opening their petals completely after they've absorbed a fair deal of sunlight to energize their forms. Gossifleur in particular are among the most basic of plant-based Pokemon and share a great deal in common with normal plants, having only recently departed as definable Pokemon within the recent past and speaking of deep time. Despite the limitations this results in combat-wise, these creatures make a name for themselves with the pollen that they can produce while in a juvenile state. The pollen itself is not actually toxic as is seen in a lot of other grass-type Pokemon families, but instead is noted to have potent healing properties, and is often given to children that are sick in the form of a special tea to help them recover faster.
This alone has made these creatures highly valued in the regions where they roam, and in turn a valuable staple in places like the Galar region, though they can be a bit difficult to raise properly because of the high standard environmental conditions they need to support themselves.
When Gossifleur evolve into Eldegoss, the blooming flower on their head finally gives way to a massive pod of seeds, and in their case these seeds are just like those seen in dandelions, with a puffy tuft of hair on the end of each seed meant to help them in dispersal. This not only allows them to spread the seeds far and wide, but also take advantage of nearly any environment to try and expand their population numbers.
As a result of these cottony attributes and their healing capabilities, these creatures can possess both Regenerator and Cotton Down as base abilities, the latter being a signature ability for them that spreads their cottony down everywhere when they are struck by an attack, lowering the speed of all of their present Pokemon. But they can also have Effect Spore as a hidden ability if their pollen is mutated and has the effect of making others sick instead of healthier.
As far as the stats are concerned, in the case of Eldegoss, these creatures are not really built to be able to take much in the way of damage over long periods of time, and are both relatively slow-moving and lacking in the way of serious offense, so most of the base stats are below average for a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon. Even so, they are still able to withstand direct hits fairly well as a result of their bodies providing built-in defensive shielding, so the base defense and special defense stats are above average for a fully evolved grass-type Pokemon, making them at least somewhat useful as defensive fighters in a pinch. Gossifleur are set apart from other plants by the capacity to actually sing, and not just through a move like Grass Whistle, they literally can use sing as a technique naturally. These creatures, who are light enough and have broad enough petals that they can actually float on the wind, have special air sacs in their small forms that they can inflate with air and then push outwards, creating a lovely light melody whose tone changes depending upon how they shape the central breathing holes on their bodies.
Gossifleur especially love to sing as they ride the wind, twisting their bodies and petals in particular as they try to control the direction in which they float. And it is said that their song is one of joy from being able to see new lands or even familiar ones as they travel through the air.
The melodic nature of the singing has left them adored by many, to the point where many wish to raise their own Gossifleur just to keep hearing them sing, which has allowed them to spread the populace far and wide across the breadth of the Galar region. This has helped them immensely, as their forms are otherwise not able to unleash much in the way of offensive assaults, though they at least get access to a number of attacks that can help them make the most of their offenses, while the decent defenses help them survive against harsh attacks from potential predators. Adulthood as Eldegoss shows the relationship these creatures have with the likes of the Hoppip family, But unlike those creatures, there's an actual health benefit to consuming the seeds of Eldegoss, as the seeds are packed to the brim with nutrients that allow the seeds to germinate pretty much anywhere, even if the soil they land upon is fairly poor in nutrients. This also makes these seeds a popular snack among all people, and it helps that Eldegoss do not mind sharing their seeds, even sometimes going out of their way to offer some to those who look hungry or otherwise suffering from a lack of nutrition.
This kind disposition makes Eldegoss stand out amongst other plant-based Pokemon and are in turn seen as a treat and friendly face to all they come into contact with.
In addition, these seeds can come in handy in 3 other interesting ways. For one thing, the entire ball of fluff that sits on the head actually creates a potent shock absorber that allows these creatures to take both physical and especially special damage very well, so their defenses are surprisingly high for a Pokemon of their type, and they can make good use of this to help them survive against otherwise extremely harsh attacks. Secondly, this fluff helps them in regards to their move pool, as it grants them the capacity to use the Cotton Spore technique immediately after evolving, and eventually the Cotton Guard technique later in their life. Thirdly and lastly, it is noted that the fluff on their bodies can actually be used to make thread, and when treated correctly, it can be made into a glossy, gorgeous yarn that is a specialty in the Galar region and highly coveted by those that can manage to get their hands on any fabric made from it. As such, Eldegoss are notably versatile in the way in which they can make use of their bodies, and in turn, are highly valued as friends and fighters alike in the Galar region.
These adorable little plants can make for quite the surprise if you think you can take them down with ease, as they not only are great at keeping themselves safe, but more importantly, they can make for great teammates in battle if you know how to make the most of their unique abilities and moves. To be honest though, I would have way too much fun just listening to them and taking in the full, joyous feeling that comes with listening to them sing, especially at a young age. They really put their heart into it, if they had a heart, that is. And even when in large numbers, I personally always find them a treat to listen to. I will admit that sometimes they can interrupt important moments with their singing, always trying to chime in with a little ditty here and there. But hey, you can't blame them for wanting to be a part of the conversation. They just like to make their presence known, and if you don't have severe allergies, that's an interruption I think everyone can work with.
While they might not have the offenses needed to make themselves a serious threat in some cases, the members of the Gossifleur family are still adorable plants that can make for good pets and friends if you fancy yourself a plant person. You might have some trouble at first if you have severe allergies, but even then these plants can prove to be a breath of fresh air compared to other grass-type Pokemon.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you can handle a bit of noise with them if you plan on keeping a few. They might not intend to be a nuisance, but you might find yourself in for quite the wake-up call if they decide to serenade the world with their voices early in the morning when you are in the mood for sleeping in.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Untitled, and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.